You mean you wish that you were dead?
Yes,
You mustn't say that.
but I do.
Don't say that. It's a bad thing to say.
I can't help it.
I know, but you have to.
How do I do it?
I don't know. We're survivors.
He told her across the flame of the lamp.
Survivors?
She said,
Yes.
What in God's name are you talking about? We're not survivors. We're the Walking Dead in a horror film.
I'm begging you.
I don't care. I don't care if you cry. It doesn't mean anything to me.
Please.
Stop it.
I'm begging you. I'll do anything.
Such as what?
I should have done it a long time ago. When there were 3 bullets in the gun instead of 2. I was stupid. We've been over this. I didn't bring myself to this. I was brought, and now I'm done. I thought about not even telling you. I would probably have been the best.
You have 2 bullets and then what? You can't protect us. You say you would die for us, but what good is that? I'll take him with me if it weren't for you. You know I would. It's the right thing to do.
You're talking crazy.
No, I'm speaking the truth. Sooner or later, they will catch us and they will kill us. They will rape me. They'll rape him. They are going to rape us and kill us and eat us, and you won't face it. You'd rather wait for it to happen. But I can't. I can't.
She sat there smoking a slender length of dried grapevine, as if it were some rare cheroot, holding it with a certain elegance, her other hand across her knee where she drew them up. She watched him across the small flame.
We used to talk about death.
She said,
We don't anymore. Why is that?
I don't know.
It's because it's here. There's nothing left to talk about.
I wouldn't leave you.
I don't care. It's meaningless. You can't think of me as a faithless slut if you like. I've taken a new lover. He can give me what you cannot.
Death is not a lover.
Oh, yes, he is.
Please don't do this.
I'm sorry.
I can't do it alone.
Then don't. I can't help you. They say that women dream of danger to those in their care and men of danger to themselves. But I don't dream at all. You say you can't. Then don't do it. That's all. Because I am done with my own boorish heart, and I have been for a long time. You talk about taking a stand, but there is no stand to take. My heart was ripped out of me the night he was born, so don't ask for sorrow now. There is none. Maybe you'll be good at this. I doubt it, but who knows? The one thing I can tell you is that you won't survive for yourself. I know, because I would never have come this far. A person who had no one would be well advised to cobble together as passable ghosts. Breathe it into being a coax it along with words of love. Offer it each phantom crumb and shield it from harm with your body. As for me, my only hope is for eternal nothingness, and I hope it with all my heart.
He didn't answer.
You have no argument because there is none.
Will you tell him goodbye?
No, I will not.
Just wait till the morning, please.
I have to go.
She had already stood up.
For the love of God, children, what am I to tell him?
I can't help you.
Where are we going to go? You can't even see.
I don't have to.
He stood up.
I'm begging you.
He said.
No, I will not. I cannot.
She was gone, and the coldness of it was her final gift. She would do it with a fake of obsidian. He taught her himself, sharpened than steel, the edge of an atom's thick. And she was right. There was no argument. The hundredth night, they sat up debating the pros and cons of self-destruction with the eeriness of philosophers, chained to a mad house wall. In the morning, the boy said nothing at all, and when they were packed and ready to set out upon the road, he turned and looked back at their campsite, and he said,
She's gone, isn't she?
and he said,
Yes, she is.
always so deliberate, hardly surprised by the most outlandish event. A creation perfectly evolved to meet its own end. They sat at the window and ate in their robes by candlelight, a midnight supper, and watched distant cities burn. A few nights later, she gave birth in their bed by the light of a dry seal lamp. Gloves meant for dishwashing, the improbable appearance of a small crown of the head, streaked with blood and black hair. The rank Meekinum, her cries meant nothing to him. Beyond the window, just the gathering cold, the fires on the horizon. He held aloft the scrawling red bloody, so raw and naked, and cut the cord with kitchen shears and wrapped his son in a towel.
Did you have any friends?
Yes, I did.
Lots of them?
Yes.
Do you remember them?
Yes, I remember them.
What happened to them?
They died.
All of them?
Yes, all of them.
Do you miss them?
Yes, I do.
Where are we going?
We're going south.
Okay.
They were all day on a long black road, stopping in the afternoon to eat sparingly from their meager supplies. The boy took his truck from the pack and shaped roads in the ash with a stick. The truck tooled along slowly. He made truck noises. The day seemed almost warm, and they slept in the leaves with their packs under their heads. Something woke him. He turned aside and lay listening. He raised his head slowly, the pistol in his hand. He looked down at the boy, and when he looked back towards the road, the first of them were already coming into view.
God.
He whispered. He reached and shook the boy, keeping his eyes on the road. They came shuffling through the ash, casting their hooded heads from side to side, some of them wearing canister masks, one in a biohazard suit, stained and filthy, slouching along the clubs in their hand, length of pipe, coughing. Then he heard on the road behind them what sounded like a diesel truck.
Quick,
He whispered.
quick.
He shoved the pistol in his belt and grabbed the boy by the hand, and he dragged the car through the trees and tilted over where it would not so easily be seen. The boy was frozen with fear. He pulled him to him.
It's all right.
He said.
We don't have to run. Don't look back. Come on.
He slung their knapsack over his shoulder, and they tore through the crumbling bracken. The boy was terrified.
Run,
He whispered.
run.
He looked back. The truck had rumbled into view. Men standing in the bed, looking out. The boy fell and he pulled him up.
It's all right.
He said.
Come on.
He could see a break through the trees that he thought was a ditch or a cut, and they came out through the weeds into an old roadway, plates of cracked macadam showing through the drifts of ash. He pulled the boy down, and they crouched under the bank, listening, gasping for breath. They could hear the diesel engine out on the road, running on God knows what. When he raised up to look, he could just see the top of the truck moving along the road. Men standing in the stake bed, some of them holding rifles. The truck passed on the black diesel smoke, cold through the woods. The motor sounded roppy, missing and puttering. Then it quit. He sank down and put his hand on top of his head.
God.
He said. They could hear the thing rattle and flap to the halt. Then just the silence. He had the pistol in his hand. He couldn't even remember taking it from his belt. They could hear the men talking, hear them unlatch and raise the hood. He sat with his arm around the boy. Shh, he said. Shh. After a while, they heard the truck begin to roll, lumbering and creaking like a ship. They had no other way to start it, save to push it, and they couldn't get it fast enough to start on the slope. After a few minutes, it coughed and bucked and stopped again. He raised his head to look, and coming through the weeds, 20 feet away, was one of their number, unbuckled his belt. They both rose. He cocked the pistol and held it on the man, and the man stood with one hand out at his side, the dirty, crumbled paint mask that he wore sucking in and out.
Just keep coming.
He looked at the road.
Don't look back there. Look at me. If you're calling out, you're dead. He came forward, holding his belt by one hand. The holes in the marked the process of his emancipation, and the leather at one side had a lacquered look to it where he was used to stropping the blade of his knife. He stepped down into the road cut, and he looked at the gun, and he looked at the boy. Eyes collared in cups of grimed and deeply sunk, like an animal inside a skull looking out the eye holes. He wore a beard that had been cut squared across the bottom with shears, and he had a tattoo of a bird on his neck done
by someone with an ill-formed notion of their appearance. He was lean, weary, rachitic, dressed in a pair of filthy blue coveralls and a black bill cap with the logo of some vanished enterprise embroidered across the front of it. "Where are you going?" "I was going to take a crap." "Where are you going with the truck?" "I don't know." "What do you mean you don't know?" "Take off the mask." He pulled the mask off of his head and stood holding it. "I mean, I don't know," he said. "You don't know where you're going?" "No." What's the truck running on?" "Diesel fuel."
How much do you have?
There's 3 55-gallon drums in the bed.
Do you have ammunition for those guns?
He looked back toward the road.
I told you not to look back there.
Yeah, we got ammunition.
Where did you get it?
Found it.
That's a lie. What are you eating?
Whatever we can find.
Whatever you can find?
Yeah.
He looked at the boy.
"You won't shoot," he said.
That's what you think.
"You ain't got but 2 shells, maybe just 1, and they'll hear the shot."
Yes, they will, but you won't.
"How do you figure that?"
Because the bullet travels faster than sound. It'll be in your brain before you can hear it. To hear it, you will need a frontal lobe and things with names like colliculus and temporal gyrus, and you won't have them anymore. They'll just be soup.
"Are you a doctor?"
I'm not anything.
"We got a man hurt. It'd be worth your while."
Do I look like an imbecile to you?
"I don't know what you look like.
Why are you looking at him?
I can look where I want to."
No, you can't. If you look at him again, I'll shoot you.
The boy was sitting with both hands on top of his head and looking out between his forearms.
"I'll bet that boy is hungry. Why don't you all just come on the truck, get something to eat? Ain't no nothing to be such a hard ass."
You don't have anything to eat. Let's go.
"Go where?"
Let's go.
"I ain't going nowheres."
You're not?
"No, I ain't."
You think I won't kill you, but you're wrong. But what I'd rather do is take you up to the road a mile or so, then turn you loose. That's all the head start we need. You won't find us. You won't even know which way we went. You know what I think?
"What do you think?"
I think you're a chicken shit.
He let go of the bell, and it fell in the roadway with the gear hanging from it. A canteen, an old canvas army pouch, a leather shelf for a knife. When he looked up, the road rat was holding a knife in his hand. He only took in 2 steps, but he was almost between him and a child.
"What do you think you're going to do with that?" He didn't answer. He was a big man, but was very quick. He dove and grabbed the boy and rolled and came up holding him against his chest with the knife at his throat. The man had already dropped to the ground, and he swung with him and the level pistol and fired from the 2-handed position balanced on both knees at the distance of 6 feet. The man fell instantly and laid with blood bubbling from the hole in his forehead. The boy was lying in his lap with no expression on his face at all. He shoved the pistol in his belt and slung the knapsack over his shoulders and picked up the boy and turned him around and lifted him over his head and set him on his shoulders and set off the old roadway at the death run, holding the boy's knees, the boy clutching his forehead, covered with gore and mute as a stone. They came to an old iron bridge in the woods where the vanished road had crossed an all but vanished stream. He was starting to cough and hardly breathe. To do with it, he dropped down of the roadway and into the woods. He turned and stood grasping, trying to listen. He heard nothing. He staggered on other half-mile so and finally dropped to his knees and put the boy down in the ashes and leaves. He wiped the blood from his face and held him. "It's okay," he said. "It's okay."